So those are my three preferences. I grind in the hardened state, the blade is symmetrical on both sides, and no visible grinding scratches. Okay, from here we're going to walk over to the grinders, back over to grinder row, and I want to talk a little bit about something that a number of people have asked me about during our Zoom calls, and that is dust control. Dust control is pretty important in a knife shop. So let's go over to the grinders. So dust control is something that a number of people have asked me about, and I'm a real nut when it comes to dust. You can't control it 100% in a grinding room. When you're grinding, when you're standing near some of these machines, it's always a good idea to have your dust mask. Most people run around the shop with the dust mask hanging off their ear like that, which is okay. So hang on to your dust mask and keep it close. You'll notice that I have buckets underneath my grinders, and this has water, just plain water, and sometimes I put some Dawn in there just as a wetting agent. This will capture a lot of the detritus from the belts as you're grinding. For most of the dust control, I use vacuums. I've got vacuums all over the shop, many different kinds. Let me show you some of them. I have these that are hooked up to a machine. By turning the machine on, the vacuum turns on. Others, like this one, right under the grinder. It's sucked right in. I have the machines well placed underneath my workbenches. The horizontal grinder that I use for a lot of carbon fiber, G10, wood. I have this grinder which has a magnetic base.
That's another vacuum, Bob?
It's another vacuum. That's a vacuum underneath the workbench. And the things about vacuums that you've got to understand is that if you're grinding titanium, do not use a vacuum. Don't accumulate titanium dust in a vacuum. When I had my shop down in Vista, before we moved here, our son Alex was grinding in the shop. He had arrived there on his bicycle long before I was able to get there in my car after breakfast because I had slept late. And as I drove up to the shop, here comes Alex running out of the door with a smoking vacuum cleaner because he had forgotten that you don't grind titanium while you're using the vacuum.
And Alex is a man who knows vacuums.
Now he knows, and fortunately he made it into the parking lot and the whole thing didn't blow up on him. So those are basically vacuums, and tubs of water control a good deal of the grinding material. Another way of grinding dust control is with a 20, I use these, I have two of them actually, 20-inch box fans, which you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, anywhere you want, and a furnace filter. This is a 20 by 20 furnace filter. You can see the accumulation of dust here because I've been using it, and that just slides back in. I made these aluminum holders. So that just, as I'm grinding, the dust just gets pulled right into there. And I also have an exhaust fan, not only for dust and dirt, but also for odor. Sometimes when I'm grinding mastodon, for example, it has a really bad smell to it, so it's outside. Oops. There we go. Okay. And last but not least, on the main grinder, which is my Burr King 8-inch contact wheel, what I have set up is a board with magnetic strip and magnets along the side. And this accumulates all sorts of steel dust, picks it up. You can see how much it really keeps out of the air. Quite a bit. So that's basically dust control in my shop, and I consider it to be a really important part of blade making. So we're going to go back over to the project table, and I'm going to show you some, not really fixtures, but aids, little things that can maybe help you grind a blade